Peace and blessings, light and love. Welcome to the very first edition of The Eyes Never Lie. So, this is sponsored by Prioritize Health. Prioritize Health is my company, and I am on a mission to save my people, y'all. I really am. We have to overcome health disparities, misinformation, systemic racism. There's so much. There's so much in every aspect of our lives, okay? And health is one of those. Now, the reason I take my health so seriously, and the reason you should too, is because no matter what your dreams are, no matter what your passions are, no matter what it is you plan to do, if you're not healthy, if you don't have a good quality of life, you won't be able to fulfill that. So I'm spreading the news about iridology and begging my people to find an iridologist in your area and make it happen. So I'm going to do a series of short videos that drops little pearls of information about iridology, and hopefully that will convince you to go see an iridologist in your area so that we can get ahead of our health, right? So again, I won't take a lot of your time, but you know, when we're talking about trying to figure out our health status, right? There are many different ways that medical professionals use to diagnose disease, right? X rays, CAT scans, blood tests, electrocardiographs, right? So many different ways. And many of these different diagnostic tools are time consuming. Sometimes they're painful or frightening. Sometimes they're even hazardous, right? Sometimes they're just no good for our health. So that brought me to all of that information, coupled with my years and years of studying natural health and healing. I eventually went on to become a master iridologist. Now, an iridodiagnosis is the most accurate diagnostic tool I've come across. And I've been in this game a minute. Y'all know me. Y'all know I've been in this game before it was even popular to be in the wellness industry or to approach health from a natural standpoint. I was already in the game. So for me to say that this is the most accurate diagnostic tool I've come across is saying a lot. Because, some of those other methods I talked about, sometimes you have to go in to see your doctor several times. You get test after test after test after test. And then sometimes we get the wrong diagnosis. That's a thing in the medical industry. Misdiagnoses happen more often than you would think, right? And then maybe sometimes though we do get an accurate result. Sometimes you don't get any diagnosis. They just can't tell you what's wrong with you, but they'll put you on medication anyway. And then sometimes you'll get an accurate diagnosis, but there's still no real information about how to reverse it, right? Instead, the goal is to treat it and to manage it. And so for the rest of your life, you're taking medications that will eventually hamper your quality of life. Now, don't misunderstand me. I am not anti medicine, right? Sick people need drugs in the story. My goal, my desire, my divine purpose is to educate you so that you know how to heal yourself so that you are not sick anymore, then you won't need the drugs anymore. Right? Right. Okay, so moving on. Oh, yes. So iridology dates back far, 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 all the way back to Egypt, right? Our ancestors in Egypt use iridology. The priest will look into the pharaoh's eyes to determine their state of health, right? It's just that's how long ago we've been doing this. And that's why I call it God's MRI, right? Because it can detect so much. And this is a technique that God gave us, right? So the reason I call it God's MRI is because it can detect imbalances in the body, right? The eyes act as a map for the entire body, right? After thousands and thousands of years of scientific study and divine study, we know that each place in the iris, in the eye, correlates with a different system, organ, gland. Your whole body is represented through the eyes, and the eyes are the only place that can be seen. I'm sorry, the health of your body can only be seen on the outside through the eye. So you can get an iridiosis without any invasive procedures, right? Because all the nerves go through the eyes. And anytime something happens to an organ or to a gland, the correlating tissue will something will also happen to the correlating tissue, and that tissue can be seen through the iris. So we can detect through an iris diagnosis imbalances in the body, inflammation in the body, over acid in the body. Whatever. Now, listen, we don't diagnose disease. We don't do that. But we can tell you which one of your organs or systems or glands is having a problem, right? I can tell if your nervous system is out of whack. I can tell if you have too much lymphatic congestion. I can tell if your liver is weakened. Those are the kinds of things that you need to know, because then you can work on that problem and reverse the disease, right? Reverse the problem. So, if you're dealing with any type of health issues, please go see an iridologist. A qualified iridologist can look into your iris and into your sclera and tell you what you're genetically predisposed to, and if any of those are manifesting, and then also what is manifesting, right? And the other cool thing about iridology is that warning signs show up in the eyes before they show up anywhere else, right? So before you have a heart attack, we can look into your eyes and say, there's something going on with your heart. You need to get on top of that, right? It's so dope. It is the most accurate and amazing diagnostic tool I've ever seen. So my mission from now on is to convince my people, because sometimes we ain't trying to get into all that extra stuff and the other stuff. However, that's beginning to change. Just know that your ancestors used iridology, and we were much healthier years and years and years and years ago. Much healthier. So find an iridologist in your area if you want to know the cause of your condition, so that you can treat the cause of your condition, so that you no longer have that condition. If you don't have an iridologist in your area, hit me up on my website, prioritizehealth.com. I'm in Colorado. If you can't get here, we'll work out something.